Good day everyone, you are welcome to GIS Solution channel. In this exercise, I want to carry out analysis of Aridity index and normalize different vegetation index of Hungary, and it is a practical GIS and remote sensing for 2025 and 2026 academic section. I want to show you how to practically analyze Aridity index and normalize vegetation index of Hungary, the whole of Hungary. So here we are given the task and the instruction. If you look here is the instruction. A folder is provided where Aridity index data in Excel is given, the Hungary NDVI raster dataset that is made up of 3 tiles is given, and the Hungary boundary shapefile is also given. And the instruction is that we should use the data provided to execute the following task in ArcGIS Pro plus Excel. So here are the tasks we are expected to carry out, about 5 to 6 tasks. And the first one, we are expected to generate the Aridity index map of Hungary. And also, we are to briefly discuss the data cleaning carried out before Aridity index map creation. Then number 3, we are to extract the NDVI value to each Aridity index point that we have cleaned without merging or mosaicing the raster. So it's very important we follow this instruction one by one. And also number 4, we are to correlate the NDVI and the Aridity index of Hungary in Excel. We are to use Excel for the correlation. And number 5, we are to discuss the relationship between NDVI and Aridity index of Hungary in terms of strength and direction. And finally, we are to comment on the NDVI based on the correlation value. So we are going to take this task one by one, and I promise you that I will explain everything in detail. I will show you how to get it done, and I will make the data also available to you. If you need this data to support me, just buy me a coffee and you have access to this data set, and you'll be able to practice or use it to run your analysis. So let's get started. Now the first thing, let's go to the folder where we have all the data sets. So here in this folder, I have all the data sets, and also the instruction and steps will also be here. All the process or analysis I will run will be in this folder, so that when you get this folder, the data set, you will have access to everything. So to get this data set, buy me a coffee and you have the whole data set for the whole Hungary. So let's get started. To start with exercise number 1 or task 1, we are to generate the Aridity index map of Hungary. To do that, remember that we are to use ArcGIS Pro and Excel. So let me open ArcGIS Pro. The first thing is to bring in the data set. So the first data set we are going to bring, I've already brought in the Hungary shapefile, but let's bring in the NDVI and all other data sets that we use. So to do that, come to Map and click on Add Data. Navigate to your folder. Here, the NDVI are in 3 tiles, tile 1, 2, 3. So here are the NDVI. So we are to bring in the whole series. And recall in the instruction, we are instructed not to merge or mosaic the 3. So we are leaving it separately. So highlight the NDVI and click on OK. Yes, here is the NDVI map of Hungary. Let's go back to the folder. Here is the Aridity index in Excel provided. So double click to open it. Here you can see the longitude, latitude, and the Aridity index. The first thing to do here to be able to import it into ArcGIS Pro successfully is to convert it to CSV format. And to do that, come to File and click on Save As. Then navigate to that working folder. Let's save it as Aridity Index, but this time around, choose the format as CSV, delimited. Select it and click on Save. Click on OK. Click on Yes. So after saving it as CSV, you can close this page. Then let's go back to ArcGIS Pro. In ArcGIS Pro, the first thing we need to do is to bring in our Aridity index data. And to do that, before then, let me make the Hungary shapefile. Let me make it hollow. And to do that, I'll just come to Symbology. Come to Gallery and choose this black outline. If you want to change the color, you can come to Properties. Let's say to this pink. And then we can increase the outline width. Click on Apply. Yes, this is the outline of Hungary. Now to bring in the Aridity index data to produce the Aridity index map, come to Map, and then here you can see this icon which says X table to point. So click on it to bring that our XY data which we have saved as CSV. When it opens the XY table to point, click on this browse to navigate to your working folder. And when you get to your working folder, if you can't see your CSV file, just click on refresh. Then you can see our Aridity index, which is a CSV format. So click to select it and click on OK. So it has put it. Then our output feature, you can give it a specific name or you can leave it at default. And then make sure that X field is your longitude and Y field is your latitude. And of course, if you want to change the coordinates reference system, you can do it here. So let's leave everything at default and click on Run. Yes, it has been added. So I can close this page. Now, if you look at our instruction, exercise 2 or task 2 says, discuss the data cleaning carried out before Aridity's index map creation, which means you are expected to carry out data cleaning before you execute task 1. So the data cleaning we are to carry out here, if you look at this, you can see that there are some points that are outside Hungary boundary. So what we need to do is to select only those who fall within Hungary. Only the points within Hungary are the one we are going to select. And to do that, come to Map and then come to Select by Location. When it's open, our input will be the Aridity XY table to points. Then the relationship we are after will be those that fall completely within Hungary, and our selecting feature will be our Hungary boundary. Then click on Apply. Yes, you can see it has selected only those points within Hungary. So I can now click on OK. So what we need to do, we will use this selected to create feature. So to do that, come to this Aridity index, right click and come to Data. Then click on Export Feature. Give it a name. For example, let's just call it Aridity Index. Aridity Index. And then click on OK. Yes, it is done. So I can come back to Map and then Clear Selected. Then I can uncheck this former one. You can see that only those points within Hungary are left. Right click and open the attributes table. When you do that, you can see the attributes. We have the longitude, latitude, and Aridity index. We have it here. And we have about 1,105 features or points. So let's close the attributes table. Now the first task is to create the aridity index map. And to do that, we are going to use interpolation method. And the interpolation method we are going to use will be IDW technique. So to generate the aridity index map of the whole of Hungary, so what we will do, come to analysis and click on tools. Then come to toolboxes and scroll down, come to spatial analysis tool. Then scroll down and come to interpolation. Click to expand it. And here you can see IDW. Click to open the IDW tool. Then our input point feature, click here and select aridity index. Then our Z value, click here and select the aridity index. Then our output raster, you can leave it at default. Let's just call it IDW_aridity. Then we have to set the environment. Come to environment. Our processing extent, we are selecting Hungary. That is the processing extent. And then scroll down. Our mask, we want to mask the result using Hungary boundary. So after that, leave other thing at default and click on run. So this will run and create our aridity index map for the whole of Hungary for us. Yes, it is done. So let me close this page. You can see, let me uncheck the points. You can see this is the aridity index map of Hungary we have created, and you can see the range from the least to the maximum. Now, if you go back to our exercise, we have executed the first one, which is to generate aridity index map of Hungary. Then number 2, we are to briefly discuss the data cleaning carried out before aridity index. So the data cleaning we carried out was to select only the aridity index points within Hungary. So all other ones that are outside the boundary of Hungary was neglected. So that is exactly the data cleaning we carried out. So you can read more about data cleaning or check our other video we have done on data cleaning in GIS. So you can see we have done task 1 and 2 is done now. Then task 3, we are to extract the normalized different vegetation index value to aridity index points we have cleaned without merging or mosaicing the raster. So what does that mean and how do we do it? So let's go back to ArcGIS Pro. Now let me uncheck this aridity index map. Then the normalized different vegetation index, let me check it, and here are they. We have 3 tiles that cover the whole of Hungary. The instruction is that we should not merge it, we should just leave it the way it is. However, let's change the symbology. So to do that, highlight this and come to symbology. So let's change the color scheme. Let's say I change it to this color. Then this one also, let me change it to the same color. Similarly, the third tile. Yes, I can now close this page. You can see the normalized different vegetation index of Hungary. And now, the instruction is that we should extract the value of this NDVI to our aridity index points, which we have cleaned to this very one. So let me check it. So we want to extract the NDVI to all these points. And to do that, come back to analysis and click on tools. So we are going back to our spatial analysis tool. Then this time around, come to extraction, click to expand it. Then if I scroll down, you will see extract multi-values to points. So which means we want to extract raster values from multiple raster to points. So to do that, click on this tool. Here, input points. Click here, it will be our aridity index point. Then the input raster. Click here and select the first raster. Click here and select the second one. Click here and select the third one. So we have selected all the three raster. Then our output will create a field that has this very name. That is the name of each raster we have inputted. Click on run. When you click on run, it will extract the raster value and create a field in the aridity index point. It will create a field and put the raster value at each point in each row. So it's ongoing. The extraction is done. So I can close this page. Now if you come to this aridity index, right click and open the attributes table. Yes. When I open the attributes table, you can see for NDVI, for the first tile, here it extracted the value. For the second tile, it extracted the value, and for the third tiles, it extracted the value. Now, if you look here, you will see for this one, there are some rows that are null. This is those points that is outside the tile, so it will be given null value. But in area where the tiles cover, it will extract the value. This is because we are told not to merge or mosaic this raster. The essence of this task is to test your knowledge, how you can manipulate your data within GIS environment. Now, I'll show you exactly how to overcome this challenge of null value. Now, if you look at our task, we have extracted the values to each aridity index point that we have claimed without merging or mosaicing. If you go to the fourth task, we are to correlate the NDVI and the aridity index value of Hungary in Excel. So to do that, go back to ArcGIS Pro, highlight all this value and copy the attribute to Excel. And in Excel, you will be able to clean and rearrange your data before you can do the correlation. And to do that, select all, then click on copy. When I copy it, then it will take just few seconds to copy all the data because it is about 1105 points or feature. So it will take few seconds to copy it. After it has copied it, go to Excel, open a new Excel sheet, right click and paste that attribute table. So you can see that we have three major columns for NDVI. This is the value extracted from NDVI tile 1, this one from tile 2, and this one from tile 3. Now you have to clean this data as well. All this null value, you have to delete them. So highlight all this null value and click on delete. So just delete all the null value. So after deleting all the null value, so come here and create a heading which will be our NDVI. So what we want to do, to find a column that contains all the NDVI in one column, it will be equal to NDVI equal to this column plus this column plus this column. Press enter. So you can see it has added, since all these one are null, so all those that are null which we have deleted, so it will be equal to 0 plus the value, that is the NDVI value where there is NDVI. You remember that it is there were three tiles, so those points where tile 1 for example doesn't cover is the one regarded as 0. So after you have entered the formula, just double click, it will calculate for the rest. You can see our NDVI. Here is our NDVI, and you can scroll down and you realize that our NDVI is complete in this row. Everything is complete. So what it does is just move all the NDVI to one single column. That is exactly what we did. So now let's check our task. The task says correlate the NDVI and the aridity index of Hungary. So let's go back to Excel. To correlate the two, we need to still rearrange our data. So we need the aridity index and the NDVI. I can just copy it and move to the next sheet. Right click and paste it. Then I can delete this column. Let me just delete. So such that we have the aridity index column and the NDVI column. So we have aridity index and NDVI. So we want to correlate. To correlate it in Excel, this is what you need to do. Come to data, and here you can see data analysis. If your data analysis is not showing, in the previous video I've shown you how to enable your data analysis tools here. So click on data analysis tool and select correlation and click on OK. It will open the correlation page. So here, input range, we will select our data. So to do that, just click here and select all your data. Select all your data, then check this label in first row, and you can select the output range or just leave it at new worksheet so that it will open the result in a new sheet. Then click on OK. Yes, here is it. Here is the result. You can see the correlation between aridity index and NDVI. So aridity index to aridity index is 1, and NDVI to aridity index, you can see the correlation value. The correlation value here is minus 0.22. Now if you go back to our task, we have achieved the correlation. Then we are to discuss the relationship between NDVI and aridity index of Hungary in terms of strength and direction. Now go back to that Excel. The value here, let me make it bold, and then I can increase the size for you to see it properly. So here is the correlation value between aridity index and NDVI. What this means is that the direction of this relationship is negative relationship. This is because you can see minus is a negative relationship. This means that as aridity index is increasing, the normalized different vegetation index is decreasing. And of course it makes sense. As aridity is increasing, the normalized difference vegetation index is decreasing. That is, vegetation in the area is decreasing. Then let's talk about the strength. If you look at this strength, this is weak. This is just minus 0.22. It's a weak to moderate relationship or strength. Now let's look at exercise 5 or 6. Exercise 6 says comment on the NDVI based on the correlation value. Now based on this correlation value, we can see that it is a negative relationship, which means as aridity is increasing, the NDVI is decreasing. Now let's make comment on the NDVI. Looking at this value, which shows that it is a weak relationship, the relationship is supposed to be strong, but it is weak here. My own thinking is that the normalized different vegetation index could have been done during rainy season when vegetation is green. So as a result of that, we are not getting the real picture. If this NDVI was calculated when it was not wet, that is, when vegetation was not much, we will have gotten value that will have correlate with aridity in a strong negative relationship. So the reason why this relationship is weak is likely because the NDVI was calculated in the wet season when vegetation was much, and as a result of that, the NDVI was high, which might not show the actual reality in Hungary at that point. So this is how to run this exercise. In this video, I've been able to take you through the practical step of how to run analysis of aridity index and normalized vegetation index of Hungary, which is an exercise for 2025-2026 GIS and remote sensing practical. This data for the exercise will be made available. If you need it, you can check the description box, it will be there, or you can buy me a coffee and message me directly and I'll forward the data to you. I hope I've been able to do justice to this very practical GIS exercise. Thank you for watching.